Hello, good evening. Greetings to everyone. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Just trying to get my focus here on my live. What's happening, y'all? It's Happy Friday. We are here. It's Happy Friday. Hi, DeJaneiro, the great artist DeJaneiro Jones. Hi, Miss Shirley Hopkins, my Hamptonian sister. How y'all doing? Okay, so I'm here to chat and talk the culture tonight on That's Code, my latest podcast, not Nerdosity. Nerdosity is where I interview poets and writers. So this is going to be culture chat, opinion based, a little bit of news, but mostly opinion. So please, don't come after me. My disclaimer is this is for entertainment only. So I will be saying allegedly several times, allegedly. No, but seriously, I'm always trying to celebrate the culture and what the community is doing to highlight positivity, celebration, achievement in the culture, in particular the hip hop culture, because I feel like that's my culture. That's a part of my culture and who I am as an educator, writer, poet, as a creative, as a digital creator. Everything I do is probably inspired in one way or another by hip hop, because that's, you know, the culture under which I was born and all of that. Okay, so That's Code. We have several topics tonight that I want to talk about, and I was trying to go live on my YouTube. I had some tech issue with my camera, so if you all see me looking over like another way, it's because I'm doing some other technology and just trying to see if I can record on both. Okay. You'll have to excuse me if I look a bit tired. I've had a long week, work and deadlines, and I just had a book release, a new edited volume titled Teaching with Cultural Responsiveness at HBCUs, Teaching Humanities with Cultural Responsiveness at HBCUs and HSIs, published by IGI Global. To shout out to all my fellow colleagues, scholars, contributing writers who are faculty at various colleges who are in this book. I worked on this book as well as other projects for the better part of the year, and I'm really proud of it. And as you can see, I have the bags to show it. From working a lot, but that's what we all do. We're on our grind, academic or otherwise. Okay, so what we want to talk about for That's Code tonight. First off, I want to lead with a congratulations to the rapper, producer, visual representation of high creativity in hip hop videos, master lyricist or writer. I believe she's also a songwriter, Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, who recently in the last, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is a very big deal. She's like the first female rapper to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So let's give Missy Misdemeanor Elliott a round of applause for Missy. You know, she did the whole get your freak on, get your freak on. And then the other one, I don't want a, what is it? She has a lot of great rap songs, and the remixes are always hot, hot, hot. She did the song Hot Boys, and she did a song with Trina. And Missy has been behind the scenes producing so many artists. I remember she brought on Tweet, the singer Tweet, and Missy is really one of those people. To me, she's like the female, okay, now, you don't want to say that someone is a female version of or someone is a male version of, but this is what I'm going to do because I don't want to minimize her at all. The way Busta Rhymes has always been so eclectic and amazing and so visual and so animated in his videos, lyrically, visually, with the costuming and with the outfits and just his big out loud personality. That's how I see Missy Elliott, being that visual representation of a very animated hip hop, a hip hop that is so it crosses so many artistic boundaries. It's not just lyrical. It gives you something for the eyes, something for the ears, something for the fashion piece, something for the choreography. I mean, Missy will give you hot choreography wearing a big bubble suit. I mean, who does that? You know what I'm saying? Like, she always, to me, was pushing boundaries with her artistry with hip hop, and not afraid to show that, well, one, she doesn't have to be like every other artist, male or female, and two, that she can do more than just rap, because we know she writes, she produces, all of that. So I take my hat off to Missy Elliott, and hopefully there'll be many, many more women in hip hop to come who will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and acknowledged for their genius in this industry, as well as to open more doors just for women artists in general to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So again, congratulations to Missy, Misdemeanor Elliott, and we're so proud of her and so happy for her. So, all right, I'm clearing my cache because I'm going to try to go live on my YouTube. It's just taking me a minute. Okay, so what else did we want to talk about? There's some hip hop birthdays, so I definitely want to shout out a few esteemed rappers. Roxanne Shante, the real Roxanne Shante, who is responsible for Best Go About Your Way and Have a Nice Day with that hot beat. She's one of the godmothers of hip hop, you know, one of the first females to ever do it and do it big and really get the acclaim for going against male rappers and being a battle rapper and being able to really say what's on her mind without fear, and definitely with coming with that New York City Queens energy that so many New York rappers are known for. And Roxanne Shante is just a highly respected rapper and definitely deserves her flowers and her kudos. Her birthday was, thank you, UTFO. Her birthday was yesterday. So it's Scorpio season. Shout out to all my Scorpio friends. So happy birthday to Roxanne Shante, and also happy birthday to rapper Eve. Back in the day known as Pitbull in a Skirt, was the only female member of the Rough Riders crew. And so today is Eve's birthday, and shout out to her. And also happy heavenly birthday for rapper Big Pun. He was a very close friend to rapper Fat Joe, and one of the Bronx rappers that really became very famous. Don't want to be a player no more. You know, that song was huge, a Big Pun. So happy birthday, happy heavenly birthday for Big Pun. Okay, so also in birthdays, or rather not so much birthdays, but anniversaries, I want to talk about one of my most favorite hip-hop groups. And if we think about hip-hop groups, favorite hip-hop groups, there's really, there's like top 3, top 4 favorite hip-hop groups. I mean, going all the way back, of course you have and I'm going to have to write it down. You have Houdini, and then you had, of course, UTFO, who my friend De Janeiro mentioned. We're talking about top hip-hop groups of all times. Who are they? Houdini, we have UTFO, we have, of course, Public Enemy, you have Boogie Down Productions, so many, but I mean, in terms of who really have helped solidify the culture over years and years and decades, I'm going now with some of our 90s folks, Wu-Tang, all right? Wu-Tang, and of course, Tribe Called Quest, my favorite. I mean, we have others. There's also Diggable Planets. There was Leaders of the New School. So many. Black Moon, Mobb Deep. Yes, EPMD. Thank you. Huge, huge, huge hip hop groups that help solidify the culture and really create the great eras, in hip hop. But I definitely want to cite Tribe Called Quest and shout out to notable poet, someone I look up to and admire, Cheryl Boyce Taylor, who was the mother of Malik Fife Dog Taylor, member, may he rest in heavenly hip hop, member of Tribe Called Quest. Shout out to Cheryl Boyce Taylor because she's a poet and her son ended up becoming a poet, a hip hop poet. But Tribe Called Quest is probably one of my all-time favorite hip hop groups. There's something about the way Tribe married the 90s hip hop youth culture with a certain kind of consciousness and a certain demeanor that was just so slick and so appropriate for the times. The lyrics that they gave us and just the catchy phrases and, can I kick it? Yes, you can. There's a whole call and response with them. When you hear one of their songs at a party or if you were in college and this music was playing, the vibe was like top tier, okay? So shout out to Tribe Called Quest because I'm mentioning them because this past week was the 30th anniversary of their album Midnight Marauders. So y'all know this is the album with the bad red, black, and green, Pan-Africanist colors on it, and all the cuts. I mean, Electric Relaxation and Check the Rhyme and all the heavy, heavy songs that you hear to this day, even though they're 30 years old, you hear it to this day and you get a good vibe, you get a good feeling about it. It takes you back, it gives you those memories that still make you feel good, about hip hop culture. And that's really, when I feel like hip hop turned in a way, like it became something. This is when hip hop was going toward the mainstream. This is when we knew hip hop was going to be not just urban culture, not just black culture, street culture, black and brown culture. Hip hop was going toward world culture, okay? Because shortly after that, thank you very much, Brand Nubians, De La Soul, the great, great hip hop groups. Thank you, De Janeiro. The great, great hip hop groups who, these fellas are still around and they're still doing it. There have been various postings citing that all the rappers from that time period have been selling out concerts, right? Have been selling out concerts. Okay, Shirley, let's bring you on. Hey, sis, are you on? You want to request to talk with me? Yeah, let's go.
Uh,
Hi, Shirley.
hey, I'm sorry.
Hi.
I do it right.
I can't see you real well. Can you come bring your camera back?
Oh, okay. Down. It's probably not
Yeah.
good. They're good. It's
What
my first time doing this, so I'm not sure what I was doing.
Oh, that's
So I'm just
okay. Well, it's nice to see you. How you doing?
good. It's sorry I'm in the dark, but I'll
Okay, well, I can see you. If you want to stay in the dark, that's fine. I can see you.
okay, good. For the first
So
time anyway.
so Shirley, let's go. Let me ask you the question that I was wanting to ask somebody on the live. What do you feel was the greatest era of hip hop? So you had that 80s, early 80s to the end of the 80s, and you had that 90s,
Uh-huh.
93, 90 to, 98. Then you had that early 2000s. So what do you feel is the greatest era of hip hop and why?
Well, maybe because I guess I'm because I'm older than you. I would definitely have to say I think the
You
80s
do?
because that's my time. That's that would be my time. I think in that period,
Okay.
that was when the stuff was jumping off. It'd be for me the 80s.
So what, name a few artists from that time you feel really represent that time then, that you feel really represent the greatness of hip hop in the 80s,
Or
earlier mid.
maybe it would be maybe you're right. It's the 90s. I think maybe the 80s was too young. Maybe the 90s because the people you were mentioning, or the 80s too. Like I remember being in Hampton. The first I saw was Houdini came to Hampton,
Yeah,
and I thought I was so excited because that was my first. I think that was the very first rap group that I really liked was Houdini.
right. So you
I'm
say
very
Houdini.
yeah
Okay, so
very
that was,
Houdini.
so Houdini was Friends.
Yeah
How many of us have
yeah.
been friends? And then they also had the Five
You
Minutes
know
of Funk, right?
yep.
So Houdini was five, and everybody knows 5 Minutes of Funk. That's classic, and that's one of the beats that
You're good.
everybody
You're good.
knows. Okay,
You know every song by heart. You're good.
no, I don't know every. I've tried. I've paid attention. My parents are music lovers, so I've tried to pay attention to music over time. It's something that has been uh, very much a companion to me as being a poet. And when I used to
Uh-huh.
perform my poetry and all, poetry is
hmm
so linked to music, to rhythm, and
Definitely,
you
definitely.
know, yeah. So Shirley, so Houdini, and who else? Can you name a few others that you feel are very well represented?
But then I would go into the 90s and I would have to you said much my favorites, Tribe Called
Okay,
Quest. It's definitely my favorite for me.
yeah, Tribe Called Quest for sure. Right, they had a number of great
hmm
albums. They gave good vibes. They represented the culture so well. They're from New York. That's my birthplace, so I'm a little partial. I'm partial to the New York rappers, but I love all of them. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, Shirley, thank you for joining me. I have some other people chiming in here. Let's see who else can come on the live. But I appreciate you, and you and I will stay in touch. Okay, my
Of
Hamptonian
course.
sister. Okay, okay. Thanks, Shirley.
Thanks. Like
Okay, so Dejanero, I see what you're talking about. You saying that you have Heavy D and you had Grandmaster Flash, of course. So let's go, Dejanero. Let's get on the live, Dejanero, so you can say your piece on the greatest era of hip hop. You wanna join me on camera real quick?
Yeah, thanks for having me. How are you doing this
Hey, what's
evening?
up, DJ? Yeah, that's
How are you?
all right. It's
My
my
first time
homeboy
going
there.
live.
I see you having your art in the background. You see that I try to do the same. I don't know if you can see
Yeah, I
the
see.
art in the background.
Is that a butterfly? What is
Yeah,
that?
that's it's sure. It's a representation of the free spirit.
Okay.
How,
Okay.
but sure, the form is butterfly. I painted that years ago. Yeah,
Oh, okay. And what?
I have some, I don't know if I ever told you, I have my own personal leanings with painting and art. Maybe one day I'll get back to it.
You know what, D? I forgot. I forgot that you worked for Lithos Gallery all those critical years
Yeah, well, how did you, oh,
back then.
you knew that about me? I didn't, that wasn't publicized. How did you know that? Uh-oh. You, Dave Shanero, where are you at? Okay, now Dave Janeiro had froze up on us now. Okay, I don't know if you all can hear me or still see me, but De Janeiro has froze up, and we're gonna keep it going here. De Janeiro, you there? Okay. Well, I got to keep going, De Janeiro, because I'm on the live here. All right. So we're talking about greatest eras of hip hop, and I'm responding. You can see me. Okay. Thank you. I didn't know what was going on because I had someone join me and then they froze and I can't hear them or see them anymore. Okay, hello Hendrick 777. Hello Barbara Lee STL. Hello Kim Dlett if you're still there. Hello Hero Sandwich and William Jack if you're still there. Greetings and thank you for joining That's Code with DuEwa Frazier. We're talking about the culture, and right now we're talking about greatest era of hip hop, and I am asking people on the live to tell me what you think the greatest era was. So we're going from 80s to the present, right? Okay, so what I think the greatest era for me, I would say is somewhere in that early to mid 90s. That's before hip hop became quote unquote glam. This is before we saw the hip hop artists on the yachts, right? Drinking, what was it? Cristal, and talking about all the benzos and cars and trucks they were driving. I mean, I'm saying hip hop was the greatest to me anytime from Eric B. and Rakim, Public Enemy, KRS-One, you know, to, all right, thank you, 88 to 98, let's go. That's what I'm talking about, because we can still get in those critical hip hop artists from the 80s that were teaching and promoting knowledge, the knowledge of self, love of community, love of education and history. Then heading into our heavy D's, our Kwame's, our special ed, I Got It Made, our, you know, Tribe Called Quest, Can I Kick It, our Gurus and Brand Nubians and people like that. Okay, so we definitely want to pay homage to those artists, because this is Hip Hop 50. So I know I've done some other, I think I did another podcast some time ago where we were in Hip Hop 50, but because this question came around this past week of what's the greatest era of hip hop, and I chose to answer in an Instagram story, and I tagged other people to answer. And I answered, you know, with the 90s, mainly that early mid 90s, because Tribe Called Quest and artists like that to me represent that greatness of hip hop before hip hop turned and became, I would say, more glam and more commercial, if you will. Okay. Not that there's something so wrong with that, but what I'm saying is when it was still with the people, so to speak, right? Tribe Called Quest was wearing the t-shirts and wearing the dashikis and the, you know, they were still very much in the community, with the community, you know. Heavy D from Mount Vernon, New York, and, you know, all those artists that were coming up in the 90s, like we had a special feeling for them, right? Because they were still doing the art. They were still doing the art and representing the community. You know, they were just doing something a little different. And then you had Tupac that came in, and Tupac did something different with hip hop. And, you know, then he merged with the whole Cali West Coast scene, and that became, you know, a whole thing of itself. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre and all of them. Yes, the DOC, no one can do it better. Okay. They all were coming with a different flavor. And to me, it wasn't about the glam and the crystal and the money, you know, money and all of that. And like, you know, more money, more problems. That's when hip hop, later it became something else. To me, it wasn't, although we can rock and party to those songs, but that's when the spirit of hip hop was changing. I'll just say that. Okay. I want to stay positive on it. Okay. But thank you all for chiming in on that. Hendrick 777, do you want to join me and talk about 88 to 98? Do you want to come on and talk about the greatness of 88 to 98? Hendrick 777. Okay, no problem. That's okay. Okay, thank you all those of you who are still here. Thank you for joining the live. That's Code with DuEwa Frazier. Okay, So now what we want to do is we're going to switch focus. Let's go to, I just watching. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. So now what we want to do is we celebrated Hip Hop 50, and I mentioned the kudos and happy anniversary to Tribe Called Quest, celebrating 30th anniversary of Midnight Marauders, a great, great hip hop album that we still rock to, and we still, can I kick it? Yes, you can too. But also we want to, what else did I want to say about hip hop? We talked about Missy Elliott. I'm trying to see if I can get my live going with my YouTube, so just bear with me. Okay, what else do we want to talk about? New Edition. Yes, New Edition. They have a new residency. So we have hip hop, but we also have R&B. You know, we're rolling with hip hop and R&B, right? And New Edition has been rocking with us since Candy Girl, all of that. And is this the end? You know, all of that. I'm not a New Edition member, but I think sometimes that I might be an honorary member, okay? Because I'm a Candy girl. I'm still a Candy girl. I saw them in concert this past year, and it was so thrilling to see them, because you know what? They are in their 50s, and they are still doing it with the, you know, with the choreography. If it isn't love, why do I feel this way? Why does she? I mean, y'all, they're still hitting it like they were in their teens and 20s. They look so good, coordinated with the, you know, the shimmery jackets and the slick pants, and you know, they have the moves with the microphones. It's very much, you know, Temptations, but it's like new school Temptations with a new jack swing. Because, you know, Teddy Riley, I believe, has done some work with them, or at least Teddy Riley did some work with Bobby Brown back in the day. So when I saw them in concert, it was Keith Sweat, New Edition, Teddy Riley, and Tank. Of all people, like Tank is I think a different era, right? Like, I don't know, he might be the same age as New Edition, but he came along later. But it was such a great concert, because you get to sing along with the songs that you love so much for New Edition, but also you get to see them break off when they do just BBD, Belle Biv DeVoe, and they do Poison, 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 Poison. You know, that whole choreography, which I love so much. So I'm just so geeked, because they represent the culture so well. And now they have a Las Vegas residency. Now, my understanding is the residency, I believe, is just from, I think it's like 6 days, right? So New Edition just announced that they sold out their pre-sales. So they released their pre-sale tickets for Las Vegas, 6 shows. I believe it's from February 28th to March 6th. So if you're someone that's, you know, huge on traveling, you love to travel and go see your favorite artists, I would say that that's probably really going to be a very good show. And you know what? Shout out to Bobby and giving him, when we went to the concert with New Edition this past year, so many people gave Bobby Brown so much love. Like, they're screaming for everybody, but when Bobby walks on stage, it's like a whole nother level. And I feel like the fans feel for him, because they know the loss that he's gone through. They know all the upheaval and challenges he's had from the past, and, you know, with his children, may they rest. And I think people are really have a heart for Bobby, and they want to see him win. And we're all really, to be honest, just grateful to see him on that stage with the group, because he really could be like, you know what, later, y'all, I'm about to go sit down because I've been through so much. I mean, it happens, right? So, you know, people do their memes and stuff, but I think at the end of the day, you have to appreciate that someone has been doing this for 40 years or what have you. And it's like, it's their livelihood. It's how they make their money. It's how they pay for their kids and their families. And, you know, so I think there's a certain respect that we would give these entertainers, if you're going to support them, to not make fun of them, because many of them have had many challenges, and we know have gone through a lot of loss. And I'm speaking more so of people that say things like, oh, well, you know, Bobby, he might not be, you know, doing the exact perfect movements with Ronnie and Ricky and all of them. He doesn't have to. The man is, I mean, he's gone through a lot, health and otherwise. So let's give him his grace and just say, Bobby, we love to see you. That's how I felt. I was like, Bobby, go ahead. Just do your thing. We were all singing every little step I take. I mean, he can sing and we still have the memories. He doesn't have to do the choreography perfectly in step. I'm sure if you were 55 or 60 years old, you wouldn't be doing the perfect choreography in step either. None of us would. It would be at best, you might be singing with the microphone in a chair and just hope that people will be grateful, you know? So I don't know. That's my spiel about New Edition and Bobby Brown and them. And I think they're going to do great in Las Vegas. I wish I could go see them, but it's coming up very quickly. And you know how many of us, we plan our early winters. We plan it around family and work and all kinds of stuff. So, hey, if you're able, if you're lucky to go see the Las Vegas show, I hope you have a good time and be safe and say hi to New Edition and all the folks for me. Okay, so that's New Edition. Okay, now, so there's more that I want to talk about. I'm going to end on a positive because I said I want to talk about pre-2024. How do we prepare for our blessings and what we want to see happen in pre-2024? So that's not a culture topic, but I'm going to get to that. All right, so something that I really want to talk about first, before I get to Lauryn Hill, Miss Lauryn Hill, I want to talk about, let's see, I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting any topics. Let me try to log in here. I know I wanted to talk about Keke Palmer because that news was just released about her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend and her son's father, and just how things have been going for that relationship, you know, and it's unfortunate. Okay, I know what else. Before I get into Keke Palmer or anything else, I want to give a shout out to Sag AFSTRA. The strike is over. So the strike is over, and the actors and filmmakers are very ecstatic and elated that they were in such a long fight to get their due and get new contracts and new deals and a new understanding toward for their film work, for being on streaming projects, and basically getting their just due with their salaries and all of that. So we definitely want to shout out the actors and producers who've been really holding space for the actors and folks in Hollywood, particularly our Black and underrepresented actors and producers who, you know, they don't always get their just due in terms of salaries and things like that. So shout out to Fran Drescher, who I believe has been the union president and the leader and person who was at the forefront for this strike and helping to negotiate the more equitable and fair salaries and conditions for actors and performers. And so it's a wonderful thing because, I mean, while I may not be an active actor, back in the day, I did do some acting projects, some film projects and plays in New York City, and it was something I really loved to do. I chose to take a different path in being in education and doing podcasting and being in communications and poetry and things like that. However, I'll always respect and have love for my brothers and sisters who are actors and filmmakers because they do good work. They're working to entertain us and inspire our lives through their art, and they deserve to be supported. They deserve to be empowered encouraged, and they deserve to receive equitable pieces and parts of the financial pie. When it comes to all this streaming entertainment and things like that, my understanding was that they were allegedly being cut out of some of these proceeds, and the conditions were just not fair. And so as a result, they had to strike. Okay, my live kind of went out. I'm back here. Okay, great. All right, so now I want to talk about two back-to-back topics that could be seen as touchy or possibly controversial. I mean, I hope not, but definitely I would love for you all to chime in and tell me what you think about these topics. So one, I want to talk about Keke Palmer. And so Keke Palmer is a young actress. She's a comedian, a host. She's been terrific on social media doing her various skits on TikTok and Instagram. We fell in love with Keke when she was the lead actress in the movie Akeelah and the Bee so many years ago. She must have been anywhere from, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, or 10 years old. So adorable and so cute. And, she since did other movies and projects. And she's really coming up, in her world and in the industry of entertainment, right? So we also know that in the last year or so, she had a baby and she had a partner. I don't know his name. I don't recall his name. I've read it, but, there's been, some things going on. First, there was Keke Palmer at the Usher residency, the Usher concert in Las Vegas, and Keke was looking so good, with her luxurious hair. And you know how Keke does. Keke is just, she's got the dramatics and the comedy about her that makes her so lovable. And she came in with the dress, the dress that was so sleek and glamorous and feminine and probably showing a little leg and a little this and a little that. And Usher is crooning to her, and they're going back and forth, and it went viral. This was some months ago, right? And then all of a sudden there was some dust up or mess about, allegedly her boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend feeling some kind of way about it, that he posted a post either on Twitter or Instagram or what have you, basically saying, as a woman, that her being a mother and being in a relationship or something, that she shouldn't be out, bearing her body and being the way she was, free and out at the Usher concert. So he definitely was not very happy about his lady being out and being crooned to and sung to by Usher, and all these memes ensued of Usher breaking up a relationship allegedly and all this stuff. We know that it was all entertainment, right? Because Usher does his thing and he's in the residency. And so then, we understand that her boyfriend, Keke's ex-boyfriend or current boyfriend, I'm not sure whether they're in a relationship still or not, but that he took down the post because so many people, quote unquote, dragged him, right, for trying to put a cap on Keke's freedom to go out and be beautiful and be in her full power and her full majesty out in the town, because while she may have a boyfriend, she is, technically a single woman, unmarried, out with her girls, enjoying the Usher concert at the residency. So no harm, no foul. I mean, it's not like she was going home with Usher or Usher was proposing to her. He was just doing what he does. Okay, fast forward to this week. Recently, and unfortunately, and I'm going to go ahead and say allegedly, certain news sources have reported that Keke has filed restraining orders against her partner or her ex-partner, including filing for full custody of her child due to experiencing some type of abuse at the hand of her partner and I'm saying partner, he may be an ex-partner, an ex-boyfriend at this point. I do not know, so I'm going to go ahead and say allegedly. But from what I saw, there have been stills of video release of him physically abusing her. And that is something that we definitely do not want to support. I'm very saddened to hear that for her, to see that she has been going through that, and she has a young child, and to have to fear for her safety by the person that you've had an intimate relationship with, you've had a child with, you've been in relationship with, and that this has gone public, I'm sure is very painful for Keke. And me being an older woman, older than Keke, and like I said, you fell in love with Keke when you saw her in Akeelah and the Bee, right? She was that adorable actress, you know, young Black girl coming up in Hollywood, showing her talents, and we've seen her perform on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram and doing all her skits during the pandemic and things like that. And I've grown to really like Keke in terms of her entertainment. I don't know her as a person. So again, this is my opinion, and what I'm seeing from person to person, my heart goes out to her that this news has been released, that she's been dealing with domestic violence and a partner who's been attacking her and or allegedly stalking her and threatening her. So what I have to say is, you know, somebody commented, or maybe there's, you know, people comment saying, well, you know, what about women making bad choices? Why are we excusing a woman who makes a bad dating choice? Nobody is excusing a bad, but it's sirs and ma'ams. It goes beyond a bad dating choice when you've already made a baby with someone and you've been partnering with them and you live with someone. That is not a bad dating choice. This is now a person showing you who they are. Nobody on date 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 shows you that they are an abuser, or that they are mentally unstable, or that they are jealous of you, or that they mean to do you harm. Most partners, male, female, or otherwise, she, he, they, however you identify, do not come right out of the gate being abusive. I'm not saying all, but I'm just saying, don't blame the victim. Keke is a young woman seeing her way through life. Thank you, Miss Shirley Hopkins. No one deserves abuse from another person. And by the way, none of us are perfect, and we all have made bad choices in life. But I would never say to a woman, man, child, or anyone, oh, they deserve to be abused because they made a bad choice. They made a bad choice in choosing that person to date. Say that to your daughter. I bet you won't say it to your daughter. I bet you won't say it to your mama, your niece, your goddaughter. I bet you won't shame somebody in your life for having made a choice, and then come find out their partner or the person they made a whole human with is unhinged. You don't blame that person. Now they are going through the terror of being attacked, stalked, probably have PTSD, might have marks on their body from being beat, choked, smacked, whipped, or whatever else the case is. I get very emotional about that, because I know survivors of abuse. I once, when I it was after college, I actually volunteered at a women's shelter. After I graduated from Hampton University, I did volunteer work on my own, and I wanted to understand certain things that people go through. And I volunteered at a women's shelter and sat in on circles of therapy of women discussing what they've been through, and that they were having to change jobs, change residencies, and go through a lot of life upheaval to get away from an abuser. It really impacts your whole life. So for someone to say, well, let's talk about women making bad choices. Okay, well, let's talk about you making bad choices, because if you put your hands on a woman or a child, that's a very bad choice that could really affect your life, and the law can get involved, among other things. Her family can get involved. And I know that some people will say, well, women can be abusers too. Yes, I understand that. I'm not addressing that. The case we're discussing is a young woman, Keke Palmer, being attacked by her allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly for legal reasons. Allegedly attacked by this man that she has a child with, which I'm sure is very terrifying, because to have a family with someone and then the person that you feel most close to and intimate with does things to you that makes you feel threatened, I'm sure is a whole nother level of what WTF, like what just happened? My life just blew up. So let's not blame the victim. And I want to send prayers and heartfelt sensitivity to Miss Keke Palmer and to her child and anyone else impacted by this. Because like I said, she's someone I enjoy entertainment wise, and you hate to see or hear about someone going through something like this. And the fact that it becomes public, I'm sure is even more, that much more traumatic for a person, okay? All right, so that's my spiel on Keke Palmer. Bless her and all involved. And I hope the young man gets some help as well, okay? Okay, that's it on that. All right, so now let's get to, because now I've probably been talking on the live for like almost an hour, and I don't want Instagram to cut me off. So it's almost like, ma'am, get to your dissertation, please. Get to the TED Talk and let's go home. All right, so let me get to it. I wanted to talk about Lauryn Hill so bad, y'all. I'm like, Lauryn Hill, we love you so much, Lauryn Hill. I'm going to start out with the love. Let's start out with the love, okay? Love Lauryn Hill. And again, she's not someone that I know personally. I do not know what Lauryn Hill eats for breakfast. I don't know if she has scrambled tofu or if she eats beef bacon with grits and eggs. I don't know if she, you know, loves what she does, or if it feels like a real trudge and a burden to get up every day and have to tour in a different city every other day. We don't know. How does she feel inside, right? So I'm going to start with the love, and I'm going to start with the empathy. Lauryn Hill was recorded this past week, and it was cited in Rolling Stone and several other outlets that Lauryn Hill has stated at her concert in Los Angeles. I believe this was this past weekend, right? I'm going to go ahead and say allegedly for legal reasons, even though the recording is out and you can hear what she's saying, but I'm going to say allegedly for me because I'm doing, you know, this is opinion-based podcasting, okay? Obviously, this is me doing it on my own. I am not on anyone's nightly news network or anything like that, okay? No one is paying me or asked me to do this. I'm doing this on my own because I'm entertained by it and I love talking to people about culture and things like that. Okay, so Lauryn Hill was quoted in saying something to the effect, allegedly, of, y'all want to talk about me being late? I'm gonna dramatize it. Wait, here go the mic. Y'all got a problem with me being late? I'm Miss Lauryn Hill. Do y'all know I'm L Boogie from New Jersey? And y'all want to criticize me for being late? Y'all better be glad that I'm here doing miseducation for the umpteenth time in a row in the last 20, 30 years. Okay. So basically, Miss Lauryn Hill said, y'all ought to be glad that I'm showing up on this stage every night because I've been performing the same album for so many years and no one even bothered to ask me, do I want to record another album? Can you imagine having to sing the same song for 20 something years? She said something to that effect, right? And you can hear the crowd roaring. I don't know if they were booing, crying, hollering. I don't know what, but you heard all this, like, I don't know if people were letting loose on her, if they were laughing, if they were crying, I don't know, but you could hear the crowd really roaring up, right? Basically, when that hit the news, real talk, I think a lot of people were like, come on, Lauryn Hill, are you kidding me? People are paying good post-pandemic, post-COVID money to come see you in concert, paying hundreds of dollars. We just finished supporting Beyonce with Renaissance. We just finished giving our money to New Edition 40th reunion concert. We just finished giving our money to LL Cool J and Rock the Bells. And now you want to come saying that it's okay for you to be 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 hours late to your concert. Oh, hell no, Lauryn Hill. You got us messed up, Lauryn Hill. Okay, so I'm voicing the people. That's not me. I'm giving you what the people have said. The people are not happy. Okay, but now let's bring it back to DuEwa. What does DuEwa think about this? And this is opinion, all right? So don't come for me, y'all. If y'all are not agree, or if you want to get on the live with me and let's talk about Miss Hill or any of the other hip hop topics, then let's go live, but just don't come for me like, DuEwa, that was the wrong point of view. It's my point of view. What I'm saying is this: Lauryn Hill, to me, in my opinion and view, anyone that gets in front of you after you have paid good money to see them and pay honor and homage to them in the form of buying tickets and taking your body and spirit from the comfort of your home into a public arena where you don't know who is and what is around you at this public concert. Some people don't like crowds. Some people don't do well with crowds. But you venture out into this crowd atmosphere to see one of your favorite singers, right? And then they say to you, basically, I don't care if you're displeased about me being late, because I'm going to do me, and I don't respect your hard-earned money nor your time, spirit, or body that you dragged from your house to come see me. That's trauma. You all, I really feel like that's the trauma that Miss Lauryn Hill has been through in her life speaking. That's like me as a professor, right? I'm a professor, I teach English, right? That's like me showing up in my classroom where I teach college English and literature and saying to my students, if I'm 30 minutes late every day, an hour later, if I don't grade their work, or treating them with disdain and disregard, saying, well, y'all ought to be happy that the great DuEwa Frazier has even showed up for y'all. That would be so foul of me, so foul and so lacking in humility and in emotional intelligence for me to do that, right? When my students, their parents, whoever else, pays good money to get an education. So I'm using kind of an analogy. Lauryn Hill might not understand the way we see it. She might feel it from her point of view of, I've been used, abused, trampled on, and disrespected. I'm one of the geniuses of hip hop. I'm one of the 8th wonders of hip hop. Maybe that's how she sees herself. And y'all don't bow down to me for everything that I do. Even if I'm late, y'all should not criticize me. Okay. Again, what I'm saying, and what I want to give to my sister, Lauryn Hill, and I'm saying my sister because we're in the same age range, right? We're in the same age bracket. Lauryn was born in New York, New Jersey. I was born in New York around the same era. So I'm going to call her my sister, okay? My sister, Lauryn Hill, has faced trauma because nobody says something that outlandish, insensitive, and ignorant if they have not been traumatized in some way and have felt violated in some way and have been psychologically probably mishandled. Nobody says things like that publicly to a large mass of people and with such, say it with your chest kind of thing, if they have not felt some deep-seated abuse, anger, and rage by their experience. I'm mentioning that because, one, we know she was in a very popular group and then she broke off. She's with the Fugees, and I've seen her in concert with them. And that's why I'm not tripping, right? People still are, supporting and going to the concerts. I've seen Lauryn Hill. I've seen Fugees years ago, and I've purchased the music. And so I feel like I'm good. I've been fed by her art in person. So I'm not really someone tripping off, did I buy a ticket and get, cheated because she didn't show up. But I think what I'm speaking of is the human value of, can you understand that a person doesn't say things like that or do those kind of things if there's not something deeply hurting within them. Okay, so I want to put that out. I want to give a different spin. I'm not saying that it's right for her to disregard her fans in that way, or for her to be insensitive, or for her to say, I'm the great, you know, whatever, Lauryn Hill, you need to respect me being 3 or 4 or 5 hours late. What really struck me, I think today or yesterday, is someone just posted on social media that they not only drove several 4 to 5 hours away to see her, they booked a hotel, they took off work, they had to pay for childcare for their kids, only to arrive at the city and find that the concert was canceled an hour or an hour and a half before Lauryn Hill went on. Can you imagine the amount of financial loss for a person? Some people have to budget these things. But you know, look, when I was in my 20s and all that in grad school, I wasn't going to concerts. I wasn't supporting all my favorite hip hop artists. It wasn't that I didn't want to, I couldn't afford it. And I certainly wasn't going to ask my parents for it, because I believe in working for the most part, unless I have an emergency. I believe in working to get what I want. So I've gone to some concerts in the last 3-4 years that I've paid for because I was, you know, out of school. But imagine people that are struggling to pay these concerts $200, $300, $400 a pop, and get there and it's canceled, or get there and the artist is 3, 4, 5 hours late. It feels like you're being disrespected. It feels like you're being disregarded as a fan. All right, so let me put a cap on this. So basically what I'm saying is I believe Lauryn Hill's response, whether it's her being several hours late, or whether her not caring about being late, or maybe she has personnel. I've worked with musicians. Musicians are not always on time. I used to perform with musicians in New York City all the time. Some musicians are very careful to be early and on time. Some sometimes come late. Okay, that's entertainment. When they say, oh, you know, entertainers can be, you know, sometimes it depends on who they are. I always thought it's possible that it's not Lauryn Hill being late, it's her personnel. Can she go on stage if her band members are not there? I wanted to give her that. I wanted to say, you know what, Miss Hill, it's not you. It must be your guitarist. It's got to be your drummer, because nobody would be late every year after year after year, every time they go on concert, and people constantly drag you for it on social media. But now that she's made a statement saying, you better be happy that I even show up in front of you all, that, like, okay, now we know what it is. She has told us what it is, y'all. Y'all better be happy that Miss Hill shows up. That's what she said. Happy Hip Hop 50th anniversary. Okay, so that's all I want to say on that. I'm not scolding Lauryn Hill. I don't know what it's like to be a touring musician on the road constantly. That's how you make your money. You gotta you gotta drag your body out of the house to go on stage in front of thousands and millions of people, whether you feel like it or not. You have to put on a happy face. You have to give and pour out love. You have to perform these songs as if you recorded them yesterday. That might be hard. I don't know what that's like, okay? My stage is a classroom. My microphone is my pen. You see, I have a notebook. This is my stage and my microphone. So that life is not, very, I don't know that life other than being a poet. When I used to do different readings years ago in New York City and read in St. Louis and stuff, but I never did that. Like, I never was a touring type poet. I was always had a job as an educator and in grad school and things like that. So I'm more of an academic artist, if you will. I'm a bookish artist. Okay, blessings for Lauryn Hill and all the people involved. I'm very sorry to hear about people buying their tickets and having to ask for refunds. But I think, people would know by now, like, you might be, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. we're all adults. It's up to you how you spend your money. It's up to you how you put your money on entertainment and your favorite artists. But I would just say Lauryn Hill has spoken. She has told y'all what it is. It's up to you whether you rock with that or not. I don't know what else to say on that. All right, so I'm putting the cap on the Lauryn Hill conversation. Hi, Dr. L. Hey, Mike Covington. I don't know who's still here. It says 2 people watching. I don't know who that is. Okay. Last but not least, let's get into my last topic because I've been on here about an hour and before Instagram cuts me off. I'm also on my YouTube live. So I hope you guys will join, subscribe to my YouTube, and I'm going to put it in the chat. My YouTube is DuEwa World. Hi, Mike. My YouTube is DuEwa World, so I hope you'll just subscribe. I'm probably going to do a lot more lives now that I'm heading into holiday break. So I'll get a bit of a break, you know, with my teaching and grading and stuff heading into the holidays. So I might try to, depending on the topics that come about in the culture, I might try to go live a little bit more. I've just been crazy, crazy busy. Okay, my last topic is, how are you heading into the new year, right? So we're in November, right? And we have less than 2 months before the new year. And I had 3 things that I wanted to talk about or present to you all. And I was asking, what is your focus for heading into the new year? 3 words. Is it release? Is it transition? I'm going to put these words in the chat. Or is it renewal? Or some combination of all 3? Okay, so I want to story time, right? Okay, so I recently went to my homecoming at Hampton. Shout out to the Hampton Pirates. Shout out to my classmates, Hampton University, an excellent HBCU in Virginia. I recently was able to take a break from my life to spend a few days at my home by the sea. I really, really needed it, and I was thankful to do so, to be able to travel and go to VA and spend that time. And I came back just feeling this cloud of like a call for, very nice transition, Mike, a call for release. Sometimes you have these seasons in your life where there's like a release, transition, renewal, cycles of needing change, but nothing will change unless you you're the catalyst, right? You're the one, the accelerator. You're the one that makes the choice. I began feeling, well, actually some time before I traveled, that there was something upon me telling me, you know, you're heading into a new cycle, time for some change, time for release. And so that release and that renewal, that transition is so important. You know, I have a friend that talks to me constantly about, you know, DuEwa, make sure you're doing your self-care. You need to do self-care. You need to do this. You need to do this. And self-care is not just going and taking a nap or having your favorite ice cream. Sometimes it is, you know, it's doing, you know, your walks or doing your yoga or getting a massage or getting acupuncture or some other modes that kind of take a little bit more extra steps for you to get that renewal that you need. Okay. So I wanted to ask you all what you were doing to kind of make sure that you're heading into the new year in the way in which you want to experience your life anew. Like, is it going to be the same as usual? You know how they say, if you keep doing the same thing, you'll get the same result? Or is it going to be making a few tweaks and changes to ensure that your experience and who you are, who you're showing up as, is getting the most out of your life and the way you're wanting your life to be heading, right? So I thought I would mention that. I feel like for me, there's a season of great change. There is some release, there is some transition, and hopefully on the other end of that, some renewal. And it may not be big, huge things. Sometimes it could be, you know, doing something new in your schedule, your routine, or taking something away from your schedule or routine. Sometimes it could be taking your attention off of something that has been taking up a lot of your time, energy, and attention, so that you can give a little bit more care, attention, or thought to something else that is meaningful in your life. Or even making more room for yourself to develop in the ways that you want to see yourself develop and grow. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. This has been a very nice chat, and I appreciate those of you that have shown up. I already gave my disclaimer about the bags under my eyes. Y'all, I just had a new book release, a new scholarly edited volume release this week that I've been working on for the better part of the year, among other projects and teaching, and trying to still stay connected to my network and my family and get some rest and sleep, and also jump on social media occasionally and check in with y'all. And sometimes it does feel like it's a lot. So, you know, everyone needs breaks and everyone needs time away and time to get with themselves and kind of recollect energies and whatnot. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off of here. This is DuEwa with That's Code podcast. This is going to be on my Instagram for a while. It's also going to be on my YouTube at DuEwa World. You guys can feel free to comment on anything I've discussed. If you disagree with me, that's fine too. I don't need people to disagree with me. And I'm going to say that all the comments I've made and opinions I've made about entertainers and entertainment is allegedly an opinion based, and this is only for entertainment and just to chop it up and chat with my folks. Okay, that's my disclaimer on that. All right, y'all be blessed and stay safe. DuEwa. Peace.